What is up? It's your boy J. Lou and Juice. Obviously, Juice is not here. Um, Doing his own thing. Got his own work and whatnot right now. At the moment, he's been a little busy, but I know people have been asking for them playoff analysis. So I am here to discuss just that. Thank you for tuning in today. It will be a not too long video, kind of short and sweet, honestly, because these playoffs just have been just like that. Without further ado, I'm gonna get started, and we're gonna talk. We're just gonna go through the. Let's go start with the Western Conference side, obviously. Um, just recapping a little bit of what's going on with the teams, the Western Conference Finals, the Nuggets and the Lakers series. We talk about the end of the Western Conference recap. So let's just go down the line real quick. Obviously, the Nuggets easily beat the Timberwolves in 5 games, handle them pretty easily. Now, the Grizzlies and Lakers series was actually pretty interesting to watch. The Lakers won in 6, beating them 4-2. Dylan Brooks probably lost his job on the Grizzlies, at least for the time being. And yeah, so the Grizzlies go to another season after having a great regular season, of being such a great team and just failing to meet expectations. And that's just not good for the Grizzlies. Like they're the second seed and you lose to the 7 seed Lakers. Granted, we're playing at a high level basketball at the time. So they're a little bit disappointed. They still have a lot of things to talk about with Ja Morant. Obviously, he is a big question mark for their future going forward with about a lot of issues with guns and things of that nature. So hopefully he gets his things settled out and they're able to, you know, do go move forward. Um the third and sixth seed in the West was the Warriors and Kings. Went to 7 games. Curry had an amazing game seven, dropping 50, which at the time was the most by an NBA player in a game seven of the playoffs. So that's what we kind of expected him to do. That's against the wall after losing game six at home. You expect him to come out and ball, and he showed out. So it was a great series. Great. That was fun watching Kings and Warriors just go back and forth. So that was pretty entertainment. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But next, we are going to talk about is the 4 and 5 seed, the Clippers Suns. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard had 2 great back-to-back games. One resulted in a win, and finished that game. The pretty sure efficient, very efficient, 38 points game one with little help defense from Russell Westbrook at the end, blocking Devin Booker. And though that series was very competitive, the Suns actually did not blow them out at all as I thought they would. They got it done in 5 though, very close games. Um, but KD, Book definitely balled out against the Clippers. Book, obviously, at the time was my best player of the playoffs. I think he dropped 42 in a very needed game three going back to LA. And then game 4 and 5, he did his thing, catching high in that third quarter. I think he had 19 points in one of the third quarters. So I know Book was happy about that first round win, getting it done. And Russell Westbrook is home again in the first round. Unfortunately, just can't win them all. Can't win them all, Russ. But Clippers go into an off season with a lot of questions around Kawhi Leonard, around Paul George. They both are on player options after this next upcoming season. And we'll see what happens next season. It will get really good. I mean, my Thunder, we have their picks. So I would not be mad if they start trembling and going downhill. They leave, start trying to rebuild because we do have their picks. But that's here and there. We'll discuss that in the future about the Clippers. Moving on to the second round, the Western Conference. The Lakers took care of the Warriors in an interesting series. Um, They won in 6. Warriors had no help outside of Curry. Draymond did okay some games. He was also in a lot of foul trouble, though. So in that series, they just had the Lakers just played a better series than the Warriors. Poole shot terrible. Klay Thompson shot terrible from the field and from the 3-point line, and there was just no production out of their bench unit outside of maybe Gary Payton for 10 minutes of defense. So the Warriors, they're obviously going to try to run it back with their crew, but I'm starting to question their developmental process. I'm not really the one to blame the Warriors coaching staff for anything, but you you're not playing Jonathan Kuminga at all in the playoffs. Iggy's not there to save y'all on the bench no more. Why isn't Kuminga getting minutes? I think he deserves minutes, in my opinion. I think he was a highly touted player out of the G League, um, lottery selected pick by them. He needs to get some minutes. Moses Moody's starting to get some minutes. He's getting his groove here and there. But Kuminga, he's going to have a bigger role in the future for the Warriors if he's the guy to go build forward with. So hopefully that he is developed and the Warriors can get along and try to develop their young talent. Like I said, Moody, they traded Wiseman, questionable deal, but that's here and there. I didn't think he fit with the timeline, anyways. So him in Detroit, he's had some couple good games after the All Star break. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Lakers got it done. They are in the conference championship. We're about to talk about after we discussed the Nuggets and Suns series, just quickly, Suns got it done. I mean, Suns lost in 6, but the Nuggets got it done in 6. Jokic with fantastic series. I think he averaged 34, 12, and 12. I mean, he was my MVP the whole season. Joel Embiid. We're gonna get to the East side soon, but he was my MVP the whole season for a reason, and he dominated as expected against DeAndre Ayton and Jake Landale. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Um, he put up historic numbers. He had a 53-point game. They actually lost that game in Phoenix. Um, so he's had a lot of historic games so far this postseason. I think he's averaging a triple double in the postseason, like he did in the regular season. So we'll talk about the MVP soon. But as for that series, it wasn't much that they could do. Booker and KD. Um, Book just played awful game 6. Him and KD just didn't show up when it mattered. And KD's my favorite player, but oh well, it happens. It happens. Didn't have the depth. The Suns actually got rid of Monty Williams, and now the Phoenix Suns are looking for head coach. Even though I don't think he should have been fired. CP3 actually went down the series. Of course, it was too good to be true. I had the Suns win the finals, but too good to be true. They ran into a better team, overall team, honestly. Uh, so they'll hopefully they got to reconstruct some things with the roster. They'll get a new coaching staff, head coaching at least. But I think the Suns they're in a trap hole right now because they really don't know how to go forward with KD and Book. So hopefully something comes up though. But other than that, saw the Suns fall. Now we just talk about the Lakers Nuggets. At the recording of this video is 8/12, May 22nd, and the Lakers are down 0-3 to the Denver Nuggets. This is the same Lakers team who people had at the time wanted to play the Denver Nuggets first round. There were a bunch of Lakers fans out there I can recall that wanted the Denver Nuggets the first round. Bunch of them. You got them. You got them. You got them in the conference finals. You got them. You got what your matchup was. 8 games later, 8 wins later. My bad, but you're down 0-3. Game 1. I mean, LeBron's not. I think LeBron has made 5 threes this series, possibly. from 3 games, I I just I'm just not outstanding and not impressed with the Lakers at the moment. Not impressed with them. I never thought the roster was that good after the trades, and I'm right per usual. I'm right about that. I think the roster is okay. It's good enough to win certain games against certain teams. Main reason was against the Warriors and Grizzlies. Obviously, Grizzlies are missing some big men. I think they still lose, even though they have Brandon Clark and Steven Adams. I think the Lakers still beat the Grizzlies. They're just too young for them. They're just not. They don't have it up here. But um, for the most part, I think I think with the Lakers and Warriors, I did think the Warriors were the better team. They just didn't play like it. Simple as that. They didn't play that good, and they got beat bad for not playing up to their par. So that's neither here nor there. It's time to talk about them this series. Um, Darvinham, I'll give them claps. Definitely improved. Definitely got farther than I thought they would. Obviously, so they got them to the conference finals. This roster featuring LeBron, AD, D'Lo, Austin Reeves, and a Surgeons as a good guard. AD and Lonnie Walker, Schroeder, Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, and the crew. Um, this is the end of the road for the Lakers here. I think they lose tonight. I think they get swept. Honestly, um, I don't know where to begin with this roster in general. You have a lot of unrestricted players. I'm pretty sure D'Lo is one of them. Uh, after this series, I don't know if the Lakers want to go after Kyrie now. I know during the season, people were like, "Man, we don't need Kyrie because D'Lo was balling," and now D'Lo in 3 games against the Nuggets, I think he's combined for 23 points, if that, in 3 games. Terrible shooting splits, obviously, but oh well. Um, like I said, I don't know where the Lakers move forward. I know LeBron will have 1 more year left on his contract. AD has signed his long-term contract, so you have Braun for 1 more year. Um, moving forward, I don't think Braun and AD will ever win another ring together unless you get Kyrie on a minimum deal, though. Nothing long term, and I know he wants a long term deal. So I don't know. I don't know where he's gonna go with that. Um, it'll be interesting the free agency. Obviously, he's probably the best talent in the free agency pool this upcoming season. So I think it will be interesting to see where he goes. But for the Lakers' future, I just don't think they have it. Don't think they have it within them to have a championship roster going forward. Bron be 39 next season. Year was it year 21? Sheesh. He's been around for as long as I've been alive. Damn near. But yeah. So that's with the Lakers. The Nuggets, they're actually really impressing me. They're actually looking real good. Jamal Murray's having a great playoff run. I think he's averaging around 27, 28 points in the playoffs, which they needed him to do. They needed him to beat Bubble Murray in order for them to go to the finals. And he's definitely proven that. I also said Michael Porter needed to step up, and he's been stepping up. So I'm happy with the Nuggets. Honestly, if I'm looking forward, I want them to win a championship. I want Jokic to get a ring. I think with Jokic getting a ring, this is a hot take kind of, but he becomes top 20 all time if he wins this championship. Yeah, I know y'all weren't expecting that, but I think he becomes top 20 player. We can argue that in the comments too. So hopefully, I think that would be fun arguments. Top 20, not even center, just top 20 player. So people are not going to be ready to have that one. But I think the Nuggets will beat the Lakers tonight. They're going to continue their dominance. I think they'll win the finals. Honestly, if Jokic can handle and AD like he's been doing these playoffs this past 2, 3 games. Like third game 3 wasn't that good for him and personally, but they still won. Um, I think he can dominate this Heat team that's probably gonna come out the East, who we're gonna get ready to talk about soon. Um, so yeah, I think Denver gets it done. I'm really impressed with them. That's really like the Western Conference recap. Just quick recap things that I've been noticing about them. Is that just real quick that the Nuggets offense, um, that high pick and roll with Murray and Jokic is probably unguardable. They run it to perfection every time. They can flip it. Obviously, they've been flipping it like they did in Game 3 against the Lakers, where Murray sets the screen, Jokic is the ball handler. So that works very good for them. But moving forward, I think it'll be interesting how they, who I think will win the Eastern Conference Finals with the Heat. I think it'll be interesting how they do it, handle that. So moving forward, uh, obviously, like I said, I have Denver gonna. I think they're gonna win the championship. Um, so yeah, that's really just my Western Conference recap. Just quick water break, you know. Moving on to the East. Uh, First round, real quick. Miami upsets Milwaukee 4-1. Mike Budenholzer's gone. I I've been saying since 2021, if they didn't win that championship, he would have been gone that year because there's just was no excuse left for him. In my opinion, there was just nothing left for him to like there's no excuses for him at all. And now it comes at a weird time after his brother's passing, obviously. But I think it's right move for Milwaukee going forward. I think Nick Nurse would be a great head coach candidate for them. Honestly, he got fired from Toronto job, so hopefully they get Nick Nurse. I think that would be a great move for them. A guy who knows how to guard Giannis, knows how to play against him. Now going to work with him, I think that would be a great move for the Bucks. So hopefully that happens. I would love to see that happen. But the Bucks, there's not a lot you can do with that roster. I know Brook Lopez become a free agent, and I think Chris Middleton as well, who will also become free agent soon. But I think he's a restricted free agent. So that roster, you keep intact. I would say run it back again, try to get the same guys, same role players, and just bring in Nick Nurse. I think the coaching philosophy is better than Mike Budenholzer's. So I think that team just needs a running back. Bad down year after Giannis went down with that back injury, 2.5 games. The only problem I really didn't have with Giannis is why weren't you guarding Jimmy Butler? You see him scoring in the paint over Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday had a terrible series after a great regular season, had a terrible playoffs. And Giannis, you have to step up to the plate. You got to be the one to stop Jimmy Butler, and you weren't the one. It was they kept having Drew Holiday. Giannis has to step up. He has to have that mentality that I'm gonna stop the best player. That's what he has to have. Hopefully next season, new coaching philosophy, that happens. But obviously disappointed. I had the Bucks going to the finals, but obviously they're not. So they're at home with me, and Miami moved on to the second round, where they faced the Knicks after they defeated the Cavs, which I was wrong. I had the Cavs winning, and the Knicks played really hard in that series, just outplayed the Cavs in every aspect. Were able to contain Mitchell and Garland, not letting neither one of them really get any space or go off for a big game, and kept the games low scoring. I think the Knicks held them to under 100 points in every single game, which is kind of crazy in today's NBA with the load of scoring and the ability to score. So that's with that series. Bravo to the Knicks. Went to the second round. Yeah, thought y'all would go to the conference final, but we'll talk about that soon. Um, Moving on to the third versus sixth seed in the East was the next Sixers. I don't know. I talked about that. That was just so sweet by the Philly Sixers. Um, Second and seventh seed was Celtics and the Hawks. Celtics easily won that as well in 6, as I predicted they would win. So moving on to the second round, where things got a little bit more interesting. You have the Heat and Knicks round one. I never thought people would ever think of that. I had the Knicks actually winning. I thought it would be their year, but they're the Knicks, and they played like the Knicks. Jalen Brunson had a hell of a series, hell of a playoffs, though. So, bravo, kudos to him. Kudos to Jalen Brunson. He tried, but the left-handed band of Julius Randle and RJ Barrett just not going to help New York win the championship at all. I've been on people saying they should trade Julius Randle. Could probably get some pieces. Um, maybe maybe Giannis. Maybe Giannis becomes unhappy, goes to New York, wants to play in a big market. That would be the Knicks' dreams, but it's probably never going to happen. A realistic chance, though, I could see them possibly trading Julius Randle in a year for Paul George or Kawhi Leonard. I know I've had some thoughts with some Knicks fans about that one, so hopefully that happens. I think that'll be interesting. One of those two in the Garden, bring the Garden back, baby, right? But the Heat took care of business. Um, very light. They won in 5, I'm pretty sure. Uh, they tried. Knicks tried everything they had, but they're just locked in the series. Jimmy Butler's playing out of his mind. Defensively, they're playing good. Duncan Robinson's coming off the bench and hitting threes again. Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo went down with season-ending injuries, and yeah, that's puts Miami back into the conference finals where they were last year against the Boston Celtics, who beat their MVP, Joel Embiid, and the Philadelphia 76ers in 7 games. Now, I'm gonna just talk real quick about Embiid and the Sixers. People throwing Doc Rivers under the bus, which is I can see it, but Doc Rivers isn't making you shoot 5 for 19. Embiid. Doc Rivers isn't making you shoot 4 for 12 one game, James Harden, or 2 for 14 one game, James Harden. Doc Rivers isn't on the court letting Tatum go for 51 in game 7. Doc Rivers is not doing that. That's he could put you guys into the best position he can possibly, but if you're not gonna man up and say, "Come on," we're like, why isn't PJ Tucker on Tatum at that point? Why is there no double teams? They're just letting Tatum ISO off the screen. Embiid, I never thought Embiid was the best defender. I thought he was solid though. Thought he was all right. He just not a good perimeter defender, and obviously we saw that. He's a good shot blocker. So I don't want to hear like this super talented elite defensive player like Anthony Davis, who can guard guards. He can't. He can't do it. He can't do it like ED. But that's here, there. Um, they the Sixers just have a lot to work. They have a lot to work. Fired Doc Rivers, obviously. James Harden declined his player option. Probably gonna reunite in Houston. Probably knows he can't win the championship as the second or first option. Only other place I could see him going, I know people have been saying about the Suns would be interesting. I don't know. I think he would choke again, honestly. Like he's been playing like playoff Harden. I know people have been dying to see playoff Harden go back to the finals with a good team that is him the second or first option. It's just not going to happen. He had a great like career though, like as being the number one, number two was trying against those Warriors teams. Just some people just can't win rings though, and he just won. He just goes to the playoffs every year though. He has a streak after streak, the longest after streak of going to the playoffs. 15 seasons in a row for him. So kudos to Harden at least for that, but championship probably not coming anytime soon for him. Embiid is the only MVP to not make it to the conference finals ever, ever, ever. argue me, him as the MVP. I sort of wait till night, right? It's for a MVP and a player who won the scoring title from 33 points down to 23 or 22 points in the postseason. That is the highest drop off in the NBA ever. That's your MVP though, right? Boston moved on to 7. Moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals, where, like I said, we're recording May 22nd, 2023. The Miami Heat have a 3-0 lead on the Boston Celtics. Now, going in, I was definitely advocate of the Celtics. I didn't think they were going to go back to the finals from the start of the season. I thought they would be the best regular season. That was the Bucks in the East. I had the Bucks going back from the East, but they lost. So I was like, yeah, I don't believe in the Celtics or Philly. But if I had to choose one as a contender, it would be Boston for sure. And now I was just watching like how they're playing against Philadelphia. They're like even Marcus Smart, I think, brought it up. Like they don't run no set offense. Why would you expose yourself like that to Eric Spoelstra of all people in the Miami Heat, Pat Riley and them? That organization looks into those things. They tried their best. They don't got the talent on the roster, but they do everything outside the roster talent wise. All the mind games they do it in Miami. Why would you expose yourself like that? Saying y'all don't have an offense. Y'all, I mean, now you watching the games closely, like I'm doing, just been having fun watching the games. Obviously, I don't have a say with my team being out, but well, just looking at them, like what offense? Their offense is just so clustered. It's just a bunch of they're just doing stuff. They're not really knowing what they're doing. They're just out there. They're just out there doing whatever. I don't know. I honestly don't know why Joe Mazzulla hasn't drawn anything productively close to anything that Udoka was doing last year. I also want y'all to do something. Go watch the Boston Celtics team last year. Their efforts, their effort for Udoka was is not what they're showing for Joe Mazzulla. I don't know what it is. I never liked the Udoka firing in the first place, and now he's gone for good. He's on the Rockets. So I don't I don't think the Celtics can bounce back from this as a team, constructed team. I think this is the end for Brown and Tatum as a tandem and Marcus Smart and Al Horford. I think they're gonna have some changes, big changes coming in Boston this upcoming season. Obviously, super max deals are starting to be in play with the All NBA teams. I think Jason Tatum can make around $310 million if he signed an extension. What is he worth? $310 million? The guy who can't even get a field goal up in the fourth quarter with 5 turnovers? Didn't I don't think he even played last fourth quarter in game 3, they just gave up. It was a blowout by halftime. I didn't even have to check in by halftime. It was a blowout. $310 million player, that guy? And I like Tatum. I still think he's a top 10 player, but I don't know if will he be a number 1? I don't know. I don't know what it is with the Celtics. They it's obviously something inside. It's something in their minds. I thought they thought they were nicer, obviously coming in with, more. Oh yeah, we beat them last year. That's clearly their mindset because they don't got Udoka. They don't got Udoka. I think Joe Mazzulla not doesn't have the mentality instilled upon the Boston Celtics players. That's what it is. That's what I've been watching. He doesn't have what Udoka has, and that's okay. But you gotta still have something different if you're not gonna be like how the team last year. You got to have something new. You got to run an offense. Got to have something. You got Tatum. He's a top 5 scorer prime in the league. You got Brown. two-way all-star. I mean, come on now, come on. Miami is up 3-0. They're probably gonna move on. They're having a hell of a playoff run. I gotta admit, I did say like the Celtics would win in six, but obviously they're probably not gonna win. But they got the Heat will probably move on to the finals and face Denver. And an interesting matchup I'm gonna talk about in a minute. But just real quick about the series, Duncan is playing spectacular. Gabe Vincent just had 29 points, a playoff high for him. They're getting a lot of minutes out of their role players. Jimmy's not really doing a lot as he was in the Milwaukee series and Knicks series a little bit at the start. Jimmy really shows up when I'm starting to know Jimmy really shows up when everybody else on the team can't do that. And that's what you need from your superstar player to do. So he's having a great run, and the Heat will look to be in the finals by June 1st. Game three for them should be Tuesday, so May 23rd. So I think game four, I mean, but I think they will probably close it out. I don't. The Celtics just look disinterested in playing basketball. So I think a lot of changes will come, and that brings us to probably the least expected finals ever between a number one seed Denver Nuggets and the eighth seeded Miami Heat. Usually you would have that in like the first round in terms of seeding wise, but I think this is like the third eighth seed ever to make the finals. No eighth seed has ever won the finals, by the way. Um, what I'm looking forward to in this series will be the Heat's defense guarding Jokic and Murray's pick and roll. I really got to see how that will tell the story of the Heat because the Nuggets they will have they can play Aaron Gordon. Uh, they can't do what the Lakers are doing with sagging off Gordon because they can play Aaron Gordon now because they can just put him on. They can just put him on Caleb Martin or whoever comes in the four. Put him on Kevin Love. Can't really sag off. You could also put Aaron Gordon on Bam if he really wanted to, but they're probably not. I'm just gonna probably just leave Jokic um, on him. I think Aaron Gordon actually probably will guard Jimmy Butler, which would make sense. Matchup wise, you got Jamal Murray probably versus Gabe Vincent. I'm assuming. I think Murray is going to have a good series. It will be interesting if Spoelstra puts Jimmy on him in the fourth quarters. I think he should do that if they want a chance to win the finals. Uh, the Heat, they run a very tentative 2-3 zone and they swap it between man. You can see it on the court. It's almost like they're playing with their opponent and just mind games with them. It's very interesting. I actually kind of like it with how they're just the players' movements, things of that nature, just paying attention closely to how they run defensive sets, how they set it up. I think they'll definitely run that against the Nuggets due to Jokic's ability to just play make. They're definitely going to need to push the Nuggets upward like they did, like the Pistons did in '04 with Kobe and Shaq. Not let Shaq get a good position, but this is different because Jokic can pass with that that thing. So I think it'll be an interesting series. Definitely more favorable for the analysis of basketball, the analysts of basketball, like who like looking at numbers and like analytics deep into that. I think they'll have fun looking at these numbers because you're going against one of the best three-point shooting team in the Miami Heat in the playoffs, actually, versus one of the best scoring teams off assist for the Nuggets and one of the top defensive ratings teams in the Denver Nuggets as well. So I think it'll be an interesting series. Uh, I think Jokic, I think, like I said, it comes down to how the Nuggets react to that Miami Heat's defense. And then on the other side of the ball, I'm guessing Aaron Gordon would guard Butler, Bam, or Porter on Kevin Love. And I don't know. I think that'll be interesting, actually, with Kevin Love starting. Would you leave Gordon on him, or would you put Gordon on Butler, Porter on Love? I don't know. think that'll be pretty interesting. The Nuggets aren't that deep of a bench. Neither are the Heat, honestly, but the Heat love running Cody Zeller and Caleb Martin right now, and they're giving good minutes. So I would keep rocking with them. I would keep going with them for the playoffs. Nuggets like bring Bruce Brown off the bench. I think he's a great role player right now for them. He's running the pick and roll really well with Jokic being that secondary ball handle off the bench, as well as Jeff Green coming in, giving good minutes. So these rotations are kind of even in my eyes, they're kind of even. Um, I think the Heat have to be more aggressive. They're going to want to win the finals on offensive, taking it to the basket. Bam's going to have to step his game up because he'll be the best big man he's played against these playoffs. A two-time MVP European dude. So, um, history, like I said, I think the history is on the Nuggets side. But people are really calling for this Jimmy D Wade miracle story, Dirk story, miracle story. And I'm not gonna lie, I can see it, but I just don't see how the Nuggets can beat the Lakers, can stop two great offensive scores of all time, as well as beat two great interior bigs and Cat and Gobert. Obviously, Cat's not that soft as Gobert nowadays, but Anthony Edwards was still on that team, who has the mindset like Jimmy Butler, damn near. So, well, Jimmy's obviously a better player, but I just don't see how you can beat LeBron and AD and then lose to Jimmy Butler. Obviously, he's playing great and co-stars, and I just don't see that happening. I think the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets get it done in 5. Yeah, but we'll be back for that analysis. We'll be back in for that analysis. It'll be interesting though. I know Jimmy's gonna give it his all. It's really gonna come down to his role players though, aka Bam. I know Kyle's gonna hoop. Bam's gonna them forwards and centers for the Heat gonna have their troubles. So I think Nuggets win. But that's it. My analysis of the playoffs recap, things of that nature. I know it was kind of a long video, but hope you enjoy it. And we'll be back with another video. Actually, me and Juice about going to cruise soon. So be in Miami. It'll be fun watching them in the finals on that boat. No, he's a Heat fan, so we will be there. We will be there shortly. But make sure you subscribe, like, turn post notifications on, and things of that nature. We will have Instagrams in the link. Follow with new videos being uploaded soon. It's your boy, Juice and Spirit, and Lou, and we're signing out. Peace.